CBR, the enemy of this channel, the bane, some would say, of my existence. Get it, Bane?
Nice reference.
I actually don't hate CBR, but I really dislike a lot of their opinion takes, including the articles, the top 5 lists, what have you. You know, I'm probably public enemy number 1 there. They have, like, a picture of me on the wall when you go into work. Like, have you seen this man?
He's not allowed 30 feet from our building.
When I get close to CBR headquarters, my anklet starts beeping. But basically, CBR actually made an article this time which is talking about why Batman is a terrible superhero. Part of this is a little clickbaity, in my opinion, because they also go on to, like, sort of conflict that information a little bit in this. But the actual title is Batman Finally Admitted It. He's a terrible superhero. So we're going to go over that today. Nate's here. We're talking about something positive. So I saw a comment that you're always negative in the negative videos.
I'm a very negative person.
You're not really, though.
I'm not.
So I figured we should have you on for something positive where we talk about why Batman actually matters, why he is a great superhero, and some of the stuff that he's done. There is going to be spoilers in this for Batman 91, written by James Tynion.
And when did that come out?
That came out very recently.
Okay.
So it's an extremely recent comic.
So spoilers are definitely needed here.
Yeah, I would say that this is very minor spoilers, though, because we're not actually going to talk about the overall arc, just the specific page that this is on, and a confrontation on that page. So it didn't ruin the comic for me. I hadn't read this comic yet until we got to this, and then we looked at it and we looked it over, obviously. Then, so it didn't ruin it for me, but
that one page definitely ruined it for me.
Some people are a little more sensitive about that stuff. But what we're going to talk about today is Batman's confrontation with Slade Wilson, Deathstroke, and the article that actually goes over this. So there's a lot of intro to this as well, talking about sort of like what's going on in this arc, which I don't think is very important. But what actually comes up here is Batman's failings as a hero. This is something that I think has been addressed more in recent years, actually, as well. I mean, this is a huge thing that came up. It's a different continuity, but The Dark Knight Returns. Yeah. There's a lot of that in here. Of like, okay, well, Batman coming back brought the Joker back. Or things like, is he just escalating or is he solving the problem?
Well, and even in the Dark Knight movies, he went into hiding for, what was that, 7 years?
Yeah.
So
basically to take the blame of the crimes of Harvey Dent. Yeah, and Joker. So, like, it's... Basically what I'm saying is this is not a new idea like they play it off to be. But Batman has his confrontation with Deathstroke. Deathstroke leaps onto the Batplane, and Batman flies them high into the air. Very epic. Epic game removed by Batman.
He cheats on his wife.
Deathstroke taunts Batman and his code against killing, and he accuses him of being the root of the fear and struggles in Gotham. But Batman agrees with this, so this is what we're looking at. There's a page here as well where basically Slade talks about, why do you think they're afraid? Whose fault is that? And Batman says, it's mine. You think I don't know it's mine? Of course I know. I've spent my career using my wealth and power to fight costume madmen, and they keep coming back over and over. I keep needing to make bigger and more frightening weapons just to keep you people down. So basically they're talking about an arms race here.
Yeah, like they're talking about Batman putting down a threat, and then the threat comes back better to one-up Batman. And then Batman having to, like, one-up the threat again, so it just keeps getting higher and higher. Well,
and this is sort of an idea, too. I mean, you know more about history, but, like, the Chicago mob. Like, this came up a lot during that, of, like, the police, like, the police arms race with the Chicago mob, how, like, the police would put down, like, the mob bosses or, like, a bunch of mob henchmen, whatever you want to call them.
The goons.
Yeah, and then they would buy better guns and come back, and then the police would purchase better weapons and come back. And so it hit this point where the police had, like, submachine guns and stuff like this, like, on the street. So this is kind of that idea of, like, the Batman is the police in this situation needing to one-up and smash down crime. Right. And the question here is whether or not Batman is the cause of it because of that. Because the article goes on to say that he pleads with Deathstroke to end this escalation, even though he knows he's the one who started it. And it goes on from there, and that he wants to de-escalate things. But what they bring up here is after years of debate about Batman's theoretical effectiveness as a crime fighter in Gotham, he himself has admitted that he is part of the problem. Which, by the way, after years of debate, I mean, he's admitted this before.
No, this is the first time.
This has come up a lot of times. I mean, even if we look at something like Batman the Animated Series, again, a different continuity, but if we're acting like this is the first time this has happened, it's not. In Batman the Animated Series, it comes up very early on in Season 1. There's actually an episode, and I always forget the names of some of these episodes, but it's basically, I can throw it on the screen here. It's about Penguin being acquitted on trial and not going to jail, and Batman thinking about whether or not he is just causing more problems by fighting crime because of this escalation. This is an idea that came up in the 90s, is what I'm saying, and earlier.
Yeah.
So it's weird to act like this is the first time, in my opinion. And he talks here about why he wants to help the people of Gotham. Slade actually says no to trying to de-escalate. But I mean, why would he say yes? I mean, like, you're pleading with Slade Wilson. The dude's like a contract killer.
Right.
He's a mercenary.
Right.
So, like, basically Batman says, I'm trying to change this and make it better and right and do what I promised to do, but you need to stop and let me save these people. And Slade says no. It goes on from here, but basically we did want to talk, too, about just this implication. I feel like there's a lot of build-up to get into this discussion. But is Batman a terrible superhero? I mean, he is one of my favorite superheroes. I would argue he is probably my favorite. I know I've kind of built a channel around talking largely, like, one of the big topics I talk about is Batman. So this is something I'm passionate about. But one of the things I like about Batman is that he's not perfect and that escalation is there.
Right, he's a human.
But he doesn't quit.
Right.
I think that's one of the things that makes him a good superhero, in fact. I mean, if you or I, let's just say, theoretically, we were the peak of human condition.
Theoretically? What is this?
Didn't have beer guts, didn't just drink 3 Baja Blast Mountain Dews today, and we were out there fighting crime. If something like the Joker came back by, like, the 3rd or 4th time, I feel like it would be pretty dang hard to, like, keep going.
Yeah, it'd be like, well, what's the point?
Especially sticking to the code, because you did bring that up. I mean, we don't want Batman to kill.
Right.
But
here's the thing. Yeah, it's
practical
like,
sense.
It's like, how many times is he going to put Joker into Arkham Asylum?
Right.
And how many times is Joker going to escape from Arkham Asylum?
Right.
Before Batman's just like, would it just be better to kill him?
Right. And that's a question, too, that's come up over the years as well with Batman, is like, is this method of non-killing correct? But doesn't that say something about Batman as a superhero? Because he's held on to his humanity through all this.
He's held on to his code.
Yeah. And in some ways, he has a lot of sociopathic tendencies. I mean, like, his code to not kill is almost like on the same level of like a serial killer's methodology of killing.
Right.
It's like this obsessive need to preserve life instead of take it. And in some ways, there is like a lot of psychological questions you can ask about that not being normal. I mean, even the police at a certain point, let's just say they're operating like fully above board. Even the police at a certain point are allowed to operate self-defense and actually kill someone.
Right.
I mean, but Batman has held on to this belief system that he can't do that. I think that's another thing that does make him a good hero.
Yeah, not a lot of other heroes can say that they do that.
Right.
In fact, I don't even think any can.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, is not to say that Batman has never killed anyone in any continuity. He has. It's very rare, but it's generally something that, unless someone's being edgy with an alternate universe, doesn't happen nowadays. But I would argue you can see that reflection, too, in other characters like Red Hood. Yeah. I love Red Hood, and he is more practical in how he handles things, but I don't think anyone can see Red Hood and not see the fall from grace of Jason Todd.
Yeah.
You know, like, he fell from this code and this way of life that preserved life into, like, screw it, it's easier to just take it. Yeah. You know? There's something to be said about that, too, that nobody idolizes that as the correct moral thing. What they will say is it's the practical thing. But you look at Batman as, like, a pinnacle of morality.
Yeah, he's the... What's the word? He's the top of the food chain in that category. The
standard.
Yeah, the standard.
Metric.
There we go.
He's like Superman.
Yeah, he's the guy you want to be.
But Superman is the one that people strive to be in terms of, like, hope.
Yeah.
And Batman is the one who, like, gets down in the mud to fight threats, but he always holds on to what makes him a person.
Right.
Which I think is good. And there was another thing you mentioned, too, which is his role in the Justice League.
Well, yeah, and if you just look at his role in the Justice League, first of all, just the creation of the Justice League.
Yeah, one of the founders.
And how many people they've saved.
Yeah, just in, like, Dark Knight's Metal, the Justice League was partially responsible for saving the entire multiverse. Yeah. Batman at the core of that.
Yeah. Terrible superhero.
Yeah.
And also if you look at not only just Batman as a character, but all the people that Batman has trained.
Yeah,
you look
that's
at
true.
Nightwing, Red Robin, Batwoman, Batgirl, Damian Wayne, all the other heroes that Batman is responsible for bringing into the world.
And even some of those that he didn't train fully himself, like Kate Kane, Batwoman. Like, he still helped.
Right.
And, like, his image is what inspired her, obviously.
His influence.
Yeah, it's like, even Batwing, like Luke Fox. Like, there's... The Bat family is huge at this point. The Bat family and the Super family are both huge. But, like, these characters... Not to bring Superman into it completely, too, but both of them specifically have sort of gone on to inspire a following.
Right.
In a lot of ways. And you can look at how they've done that, too. Like, Batman did, in some ways, take advantage of people like Dick Grayson in some ways when they were vulnerable to mold them into that. But even if it wasn't the best thing ever, it was for the greater good. He's created, like, agents of positive change in the world. And people like Dick Grayson... and Tim Drake, they have the ability to be better than him eventually because he is so tainted by, like, the darkness and the death of his parents and all this stuff.
He has all that past trauma on him.
And they have some, but not nearly the level of, like, how would you say it? Like, psychological damage and baggage that came with his.
Yeah, they have the ability to be Batman, but better.
Yeah. And that's one of the big things about Tim Drake, especially in recent years in Rebirth, is that idea of, like, he has the ability to transcend what Batman is.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, do we have more things to say about this? I'm not sure, because it's like, I feel like there's countless examples of Batman being a good superhero, whether it's New 52 or pre-New 52. Again, something like, I don't want to talk too much about Doomsday Clock. Batman did play a key role in that. But one thing Doomsday Clock does do, which is not really a spoiler, because everybody knew that it was going to do this, is tie back the past of DC Comics into the present. And sort of remind you that these previous events do still matter. So things like Nightfall. Batman purposely comes back after Jean-Paul Valley, which is Azrael, starts escalating things to the point where, like, he's going to start killing people. And Batman's like, nope, like, that's the line. You're done. You got to take your bench now. Puts him in his place and comes back as Batman. Do you know what a bad superhero would have done? Quit.
Yeah. You would just be like, well,
Someone took the mantle. He had a way out to have a life at that point. I mean, like, do you think Azrael would have killed him if he just left him alone? No. He would have just been like...
just let him be.
Yeah, he would have just done his thing. He probably would have put down the Rogues Gallery of Gotham and been done with it. And in some ways that is more practical, but he wanted to hold on to this humanity, and even in some ways it is a hope that people can change.
Right.
I don't know. I think when I think of a terrible superhero, I don't think of someone who holds on to their morals no matter what, who stands fast in what they believe in, who does things that we can't, because I would argue most people would just straight up snap the Joker's neck and be done with it.
I would.
Yeah. Like, we don't have that moral capacity to stand fast that much. That's why he's something that we look up to.
Yeah, and Batman is, if you want to talk about a terrible superhero, Batman's probably the opposite of it.
Yeah.
Because he's done far, far, far more amount of good than bad.
Yeah.
And plus the other thing is Batman's not perfect, and I feel like everyone needs to remember that.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the human.
Yeah, he's trying to be perfect, but he obviously he's not.
Well, and that's the thing, is he is the man standing among gods a lot of times. Like, able to stand his own. He's supposed to be the peak of what we can be, physically and morally, whereas, like, Superman's the peak of what we can be morally and, like, through hope and truth and stuff.
Right.
These characters, these archetypes have, like, a specific purpose. There's a reason why, like, popular does not mean good. There's a reason why Batman has stood fast as, like, popularity-wise, like, the top draw pretty much everywhere. I mean, you even look across my channel. Like, Batman is, like, the thing that draws people in. Like, people are inspired by this character.
Yeah, so. Superman is the symbol of hope. He's the face of hope. Batman's the operations behind it.
Yeah, he's like what we all want to be.
Yeah, he's the one that does the dirty work.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I think that's all we have to say. It went a little longer than we thought it would. But Batman's not a terrible superhero, CBR. That's not what he was saying.
Get out of here.
Batman was struggling in a moment of weakness with, like, feelings of inadequacy to handle these threats. But over the years, he's done so every time. So I don't know. We'll obviously keep you posted on CBR's antics. They're kind of wild kids over there.
Edgy.
So let us know what you think in the comments down below about Batman. Is he a good superhero or a terrible superhero? What's your take on the escalation? And hey, be sure to check out, I've got an Instagram going now. Very few followers over there. It's a specific crowd. I'm trying to get you over there to check out what I'm doing. Got a Twitter, Patreon, Reddit, Discord, everything in between. No IMDb yet. Someone can make that for me. I'll see you in the next one. Have a fantastic day. You're all awesome. And hey, seriously, not a joke. Stay safe out there. It's kind of weird times. That's why I decided to upload this on Wednesday as well. People are looking for more things to do. We're all pretty bored. So go online, play a game with your friends, and
drink Mountain Dew.
Drink Mountain Dew, hang out with your family. We'll see you later.